All right, guys, in the tone of sort of limping is pimping, what's more fun than doing some hand breakdowns with El Jefe, Kerry Katz? Why do we call him El Jefe? Because he's the boss. He is the guy who puts on the show at Poker Go. He's the one that puts up the money for the year-end free roll. He puts up the money for the player of the series, all this kind of stuff. He's really done a great thing for poker. I'll tell you what, I started playing in the late 90s, and if you would have told me that there'd be like a poker studio right in the center of the strip that's beautiful and the best place to play poker, I probably wouldn't have believed that one, but it's true. High rollers there all the time. It is my home office. Really, at this point in my career, all I play are events at the Poker Go studio and the World Series of Poker. Outside of that, you rarely see me anywhere else. All right, so let's talk about a hand that involves Kerry Katz. So we also have a player in this event who I mentioned in a previous video I don't know at all. He's a sports guy. He's a recreational, not a professional. That became very clear very early on. He had a unique way of playing. He's just in there, He's firing, right? Good for him. I don't know his first name. I just know his name is Jager, right? Jaromir Jagr. We're going to go with Jaromir Jagr, number 68. No, okay.
Like crazy knowledge.
Prescient. That's a big word. I didn't know that. I know, but it's like, I don't hear that one a lot.
Yeah.
Prescient.
It's a good word.
What does it mean?
It means like know something before it happens.
So like prepared. Oh, okay.
Not necessarily before it happens. Well, I guess
Jaeger
Right,
goes
know what
for
you're gonna
limp
do
with
before.
threes.
Yeah.
That's Yakuski out. Pretty one for El Jefe. Let's see how he proceeds. Limps as well. Another good hand here. Ace-5 suited for Foxen in the small. He's in.
Raise 60,000.
Well, suddenly, Negreanu decides to ask what's what with six deuce. There's some pretty ones out there, but at the 60K sizing, don't feel quite like the prom queen anymore, sitting on king queen suited or ace-5 suited. Nevertheless,
Naturally, this is an interesting choice from Negreanu with just 6 deuce offsuit, really leaning on Kerry's propensity to not kind of, to cling to survival. Foxen with just his small blind range and the unclear limp of Jaeger, but 6 deuce offsuit here, guys, of the don't try this at home variety. 150 in the middle.
So Jaromir Jagr limps under the gun with a couple of threes. Kerry Katz calls from the button. He's got a beautiful hand. He's got the king-queen suited. Foxen from the small, ace-5 suited. And yours truly in the big blind with 6 deuce offsuit, right? So what's to talk about? I mean, gee, I have 6, whatever, right? This is a silly hand. All right, but let's break it down because this is it's kind of an important one, really. I had noticed that Jagr was also into limping his pimping, but Jagr was actually limp folding too much. Okay, he was like limp folding 9s. I saw him limp fold 9s. I saw him limp folding like king queens. He was showing them, right? So I'm like, all right, well, his limping range, unless he's setting me up, it's pretty wide, right? Now, you have Kerry Katz on the button not raising, right? So you have to assume he's going to be raising all the top of his range, aces, kings, ace, king. Again, we've talked about this before with Kerry, though. Kerry's going to have a lot more strong hands than most, but still, it's a spot where against a recreational player, if you have a strong hand, you're just going to most likely play it straight, go ahead and raise it. Foxen from the small blind, he's going to call with pretty much anything, right? So he's never going to have a monster here. He's going to raise here and pick up what's there. He needs the chips just as much. So now, without looking at our cards are irrelevant, clearly. No solver is ever going to tell you to raise with 6 deuce offsuit. This is part of the reason why there's so many situations that come up where a human who's paying attention and can exploit his opponents are going to do better in a lot of spots than the most perfect of Nash solvers or whatever the case may be. Because they would never do this, right? But I'm telling you, this prints, all right? So there's like 60,000 out there now, right? With the big blind ante, you got, 50,000 out there, right? So I've already got 10 invested. I can risk 50 more, make it 60,000, put a lot of heat on both players. Like I'm not letting them call easy for 3, 4x, 4x. and I can risk 50,000 to win 50,000. Now, do I need this pot? Nah, I'm doing fine in chips, but it is such a good spot. You know, not taking this spot would be like not really being in the game. And I think sometimes, you know, one of the things people don't realize is when you're sharp, you're hitting these spots. You're really focused, right? If you're chit-chatting, being all loosey-goosey, eating a sandwich, right? If you're doing all that, you're not really focused or in the zone, you might just, you know, do the natural thing, look at your card and, you know, check, without actually going, whoa, hold on. Every spot is a spot that's potentially a spot. Every spot is potentially a spot that's a spot where you can do some stuff. And this one is a really good one, right? Again, for the reasons I mentioned. This guy's limp folding too much. Carry on the button should be raising, you know, with the strongest part of his range. Alex is for sure going to against two players. So free money. Free money. Free money. Have you seen that with the real estate guy? We're going to put that free money. It's free money. Okay. Free money. It is, right? So the first guy folds the threes as we expected. But Carey, he limped strong. You know, he limped as strong as he's going to have here, and he's got king, queen suited. Like I said, pretty darn strong. And we don't love it that he calls, but we can also sort of narrow his range down a little bit, right? He's not doing this with aces, kings, queens, ace, king, and stuff like that. Those hands, he's just going to stick it in my face or do what he's got to do. So now we've got a pot of 150,000.
2 out of 3 men down, and Negreanu is going to have to square off with this king-queen, and on an ace-queen-10 board, it will be a challenge. Negreanu does not hesitate to check it over to Carey, who checks back.
Here's the problem, y'all. The flop is ace, queen, 10. 2 hearts, 1 club. Listen, I mean, Carey's not calling 550 more without something, right? So this is just a give up. We took our shot. We risked 50 to win 50. Didn't work out. Carey smashes this board, right? Carey can also, because we know Carey, he could be calling here with 7-8 suited, 8-9 suited, and these kind of things. He likes to play those hands in position. But, you know, he's also going to have a lot of hands that just absolutely smash this. He's going to have suited aces. He's going to have king-jack, suiteds. He's going to have king-queen, as we know. He's going to have king-10s, 10-jacks, a whole bunch of hands. So I'm giving up on this hand on the flop, but it doesn't mean I'm done for the perpetuity of it. Like, I can check this flop with a lot of my strong hands, and I would. So if I actually had an ace here, let's say I raised with some goofy ace-9, I'm probably checking this too. Carey knows that, right? So I can go ahead and check here and still give myself a chance to win this pot with a delayed bet, maybe on turn or river. If flop goes check, check, turn goes check, check, maybe I can bet river.
Back, second pair, gut shot, straight draw. Negreanu drawing dead.
$60,000.
Daniel just doing his thing, Ollie. Six
Sure.
deuce
No.
offsuit here.
Not a weak ace. Not a weak ace. Not second pair.
Second possible pair.
Queen?
No.
60K bet, earning
that
the
would be a
respect of Carey.
That makes sense.
I guess.
Highly
Fair, yes.
unorthodox procedures there from Daniel. Fair enough, my friend.
If we make
Chip
that,
leader here, going wire to wire thus far.
Turn 7 of diamonds. We still have absolutely nothing, okay? But Carey, again, he's getting short on chips. So I don't need to risk it all to bluff him, right? If he puts in anything here, he's probably going to have to put it all in, and I think he knows that. So with 150,000 out in the pot, how much do I really need to bet here to tell the story that I have an ace and hope that Carey doesn't? Hope that maybe Carey folds queen, jack, king, jack. I don't know. Not king, jack. King, queen, a 10, you know, all these kind of hands. An ace is a very reasonable card for me to have, right? If I wasn't doing what I'm doing, which is raising any 2, you know, in this spot, an ace is a good blocker card to go ahead and bluff raise with. And I think Carey knows I could have ace 4 or something like that. So I decide how much needs to be risked here based on his stack size. And I decide 60,000 into 150, okay? And the other thing I know about Carey, which maybe I'm not going to reveal this because it's too much information, but if he calls this turn, okay, I'm going to do it anyway. But anyway, if he calls this turn, right, he's going to do that with some of the hands that are going to fold the river. So I'm committing to betting 60 now so that I could potentially fire the last bullet on the river and go ahead and bluff. Barring, well, I mean, I'm pretty much going to do it on almost any river because if river cards get there with like straight cards, like a jack or a king, now I'm going to have to bank on the fact that he doesn't have a straight and he's going to fold 2 pair. A lot, right? But anyway, my plan was to bet the 60,000 on the turn, go ahead and bluff the river. Now Carey's sitting there with king, queen suited. And he knows all this stuff about me having ace junk and, you know, big hands. And I don't think he thinks that I'm doing this with 6 deuce offsuit for sure. So he looks at the spot and says, listen, if I go with this, I'm going to have to go all the way. And he elects to fold. So we picked up a pot here. More than just the even money bet, which was 50 to win 50. We won an extra 50. So we risked 50 to win. We ended up risking 110 to win. Well, you know what I'm saying. We did good is what I'm saying here. We did good here with nothing. But again, I think the most important lesson here is don't go on autopilot, right? Don't be like in your Tesla and let it drive the whole way, right? Take control of the wheel, right? Pay attention to every spot and make sure you're attacking them. Because like the best players, you know, you look at a guy like Foxen and Chidwick and these guys, they're engaged. They're looking at every little nickel that they can pick up. And again, did I need this pot? What am I sitting on here? I'm sitting on here in this pot. I got 1.6 million. Do I need the 50K? No, but I'm going to chip away. That doesn't mean because I don't need it, I'm not going to go ahead and damn take it, right? Because by the end of the tournament, you got to win every chip. So when they're available to you and there's free money, you pick it up. Okay, so the very next hand, after Carey, you know, limped this button, called with king, queen suited, and then folded on the turn when I was drawing completely dead and had the old 0% on screen, he goes ahead and moves all in from the cutoff.
If we make that kind of investment off of Carey's stack size to start that pot, do we not feel more compelled to maybe take another one off there, or we got our free look at the turn and now it's time to just abandon it?
He was ripe with interaction. I'm inclined to, at the very least, think what you're saying is a sound notion. But it is hard when Negreanu 6X is out of nowhere. He's been so kind of responsible.
It's deep stack. Oh, God. It was 9?
All in.
And Daniel does do that shtick of I like to have it. You know, he kind of, here we are.
How much is it?
Jam from Cats, Cuspy for Negreanu, 13.5.
And also, let's not forget that 6-3 suited hijack open did not end up at a showdown courtesy of Foxen folding the 2 10s. So the sort of out of line stuff has not been brandished as yet.
Excellent point, Ali.
And now he's only on 13.4 blinds. He's got 134,000. But his 13 big blinds is different than most people. Having said that, we're playing 5-handed with a big blind ante. So as much as you want to like address the fact that he's got a tighter range, with a hand like ace-10 suited against the cutoff range, he's going to have all of his small pairs. We assume he's going to have like ace-8 suited, ace-9 suited, king-queens and stuff like that. Maybe not as much, but overall, I feel like ace-10 suited is just too good to fold, even against a guy like Carey Katz, who's going to, like I said, you know, be a little bit tighter. The fact that we're 5-handed and, you know, I can also afford it. You know, I can also afford it. It's not like my tournament life at risk. There's no ICM consideration for me specifically in this spot. We're still not in the money yet, but I still felt like, I mean, this is a slam dunk call against this again, we've talked about Carey a lot like this, where we do exploits and we adjust. But against your standard player, what am I thinking about? It's a call, boom, happily call, actually. Against Carey, we call, but we ain't necessarily happy about it.
Call.
Negreanu going to flat, and now Jaeger wakes up with ace-jack in the big. Could give Daniel real problems. You hear Paul say, I was going to.
We could switch. I'll pull mine back. You take them. Whatever. I don't care. Somebody's got to get them.
10 seconds.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Nope.
Well, that's an
You
excellent
got a pair, right?
development for Daniel's purposes.
Do you have an ace?
Yeah, they jack.
Oh, good man.
Oh, he had me.
All right, 6 of diamonds.
Well, there you go. Fine, whatever. It is what it is. It'll just be a worse beat if it comes. King, Queen, Jack. I feel like I might even, because of all that, win this one. As it sounds.
It feels like it happens more than
Yeah, more than it should.
Look at this
What a
board.
what a disaster flop.
Confirmed.
2 outs, running 7-9.
You had
Yeah.
ace jack. You'd have outs.
The light is dimming though, Ali.
Maybe.
Queen on the turn and only a 6 would save El Jefe from heading to the lockers. Is it there? No.
Good game.
3 of diamonds and Kerry
GG,
Katz
sir.
dispatched
Yeah,
in
I
11th.
got him.
He came,
move.
he fought,
It worked out for
and he
us.
goes, Ali.
Appreciate it.
And to be fair,
we,
there were
I
some
guess we're
spots
getting a
that
player.
maybe
10 remain.
other
We're getting a
pilots
player, I imagine.
would have found themselves in a
We're what?
earlier exit, but the way
have a
Kerry
break?
proceeded found some extended play.
I'll do my best.
Indeed, he
They did big blind last time.
hung around, and alas, 10 remain.
We are happy, though, that we did win the flip. Oh, boy! What happens if we start winning flips? Forget about it. Forget about it. Ace-10 suited. Beat the 6s. Kerry Katz. Good luck next year. All right, folks. In the description down below, you will find a link to an IQ test from Hybrid Poker. Highly recommend taking it. The software is unbelievable, very user-friendly. Let me know in the comments down below what you score. I got 74 on the 30. Can you beat it? Let's see.